Hi, old guy in shed here, again. Well, we're going to talk about BLM, rather than a specific motorbike. I do really mean that we should discuss BLM, because bikers' lives matter. And when I say that, I'm not talking in the safety sense. I'm not going to go on about think bike. Don't know how many of you remember that advert, the whole advertising campaign, and how we all of a sudden had to wear crash helmets. No, I'm not talking about safety. I'm talking about a quote I heard, and I can't remember where I heard it, which was, just because you're alive doesn't mean you're living. Now that really does sum up motorbikes, because when you're riding your bike, or bikes, or whatever you do, that's when you're living, and it really is quite exhilarating, more than most other pastimes I can think of. A pal of mine, he does have bikes, he enjoys bikes, had a very successful career in bikes in general, in terms of racing, what have you, but he now plays golf as well, and as far as I can ascertain, it is a waste of a good walk. But there you go, each to their own. The whole point of this particular video has come about by me having conversations with a couple of pals of mine who we all decided that bikes have given us so much over the years, and we were talking about some of the old bikes we had and how we got started, and some of the old rubbish that we used to cobble together. You know, I mean, they were really cobbled together. They were unsafe. They really were. Well, they would have been unsafe if they ran for very long, but they never really seemed to do much of that either. I'm talking about old Villiers engines, machines, and sort of the little Triumphs and the little BSAs, and stuff that today you couldn't sell. They were just so far beyond the pale. But they gave us a grounding. They gave us a whole way of life to get into. That has now resulted in me having a collection of motorbikes that I thoroughly enjoy. But it's like the old saying goes, especially, you know, when you sort of look at how it all sort of clips together, your life that is. As the old saying goes, youth is wasted on the young. And it was wasted on us, really was, because we really got our heads around the job. We could have done way better than we did. But it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. We all now have really good stories to tell. And what's fascinating is when we're talking to one another about the old days, and when I say the older days, you've got to remember that I'm so old that when I was a kid, rainbows were in black and white. And that when we talk about them now, I hear this echo at the back of my head, and it's my father's voice, and I'm now saying all the things I said I would never say because my father said them. But as time has gone on, I hear myself saying the same things to and about youth. And I'm very much aware now that I am being somewhat unfair to the youth of today, because it's not as much fun on the road as it was. There are more vehicles on the road than there were. And so it is very much a different world we live in. But the one thing that hasn't changed, the one constant in amongst all of this, is the adrenaline. And this is the problem with motorbikes, and this is where I think we were at an advantage, because we had our Villiers whatever, and the very first time you got on your very first motorbike and opened that throttle, you had a real adrenaline rush, right up to like 35 mile an hour, because it was staggeringly fast. You'd only had a push bike up until then. So it was quite exciting. But then you realise that you're only doing 35 mile an hour, so you want to go a bit faster. to get the adrenaline again. And a bit faster and a bit faster and a bit faster. Till in the end you are just a maniac. As we all were. But we were maniacs on bikes that really couldn't do it. I mean, it was something if you could do a ton. You know, they used to call them ton-up boys. And it was really, wow, a ton. Now this thing, I can sit up fully loaded, wife on the back, going on holiday, look down at the clock and go, oh shit, I'm doing 110. And I've got to roll it off. I've got to be very aware of my speed because it does it effortlessly. And they all do. Even smaller capacity machines effortlessly go over 100 miles an hour without even thinking about it. For hell's teeth time, a little hatchback will do it. So, you know, we are in very different times. And I think this is why we shouldn't criticise the youth. They are in a different world with machines that are very different. And they're just as much fun, but they've got different perspectives on the job than what we had. And I think it's fair to say that if they approached the modern machinery the way we approach the old machinery, there'd be carnage out there, absolute carnage, because the new machinery is technologically fantastic, it really is. And so, you know, we look at these old bikes and we can reminisce and we can chew the fat, but in reality, we had a good time with it because we were allowed to. The scope of the vehicles allowed us to have a good time. Talking about old vehicles, I don't know if any of you remember about me getting my new rims for my Falcone. They turned up. I'll be putting them back on the bike tomorrow, and I'm hopefully going to do another ride out on that. Still haven't sorted out a camera for that. I don't quite know how to do it, and I don't know which is the best way to go. I don't know what the best kind of camera is. And that brings me straight back to this conversation of point. Cameras on motorbikes? There's no way we could do that. No way on this planet we could do that. And now we talk about it like it's nothing. We have mobile phones, we take them out of our pocket and we film everything. We never had any of that. I was discussing this with somebody. We used to go for rides up to anywhere, Lake Districts or whatever, to a bike rally or camping or whatever, generally just touring around the countryside. No plastic, you know, no credit cards or debit cards or AA cover or anything on unreliable machinery. When you think about it, we were quite brave, bordering on the stupid. So, really speaking, we should not for one moment criticise the youth, because I think they're doing a bloody good job now, although I didn't for a while, but now I do. I honestly believe they do a bloody good job for the ones that get out there and do it. And sadly, there are precious few, comparatively speaking. And I hope they do get on with it, I really do. And like I say, it does matter. Our lives matter to get these things over to younger guys, the fun of them, without any criticism of how they go about it. But ultimately, they will be old guys in sheds, you know? And we've got to keep it going, because I can see the legislation making it harder and harder, which pains my heart. But nonetheless, for those that do actually do it, they really enjoy it. And we've got to keep that fun alive, get kids involved, get us involved with their biking. And I think it'd be an interesting way forward anyway. Anyhow, this is Old Guy in Shed, wishing you all well. I will be doing more technical stuff soon. If anybody has anything to say on the subject of legislation and motorbikes, in the comments section, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear other people's views, because mine are that there is a lot of legislation that appears to me to be a little unnecessary, making it very difficult for guys to get on the bikes in the first place. But I would like to see anybody, I'd like to hear from anybody who has an opposing view that really, you know, the legislation is about right or needs changing in one direction or another, because biker life matters, really does. And biker life is where I've spent a lot of my time, and hopefully I will bump into a few of you guys out on the road and we can have a proper chat. It's the old guy in the shed. Forgot to mention, press the buttons, the like and share and subscribe and all that nonsense. If you could do that for me, I'd really appreciate it, because I like to do these videos, and if I don't get those, it becomes more difficult for other people to see them. It's a very odd thing, this YouTube. I haven't quite got my head around it. But hey, old guy in shed, take care and goodbye.